So hearing loss can be prevented if it is due to certain factors. So if there is a hearing loss that is due to untreated ear infections, so hearing loss can develop from untreated ear infections, that can be prevented by having the parent of the child or the adult get appropriate treatment for the hearing loss. If parents notice the child has a high fever, we know that high fevers can cause a hearing loss, so getting appropriate treatment for that high fever and making sure it does not get to the point where conditions like a hearing loss can develop. If we have a hearing loss from sticking things in the ear, so if there's cotton buds or something to clean the ear is being stuck into the ear continuously, we can damage the ear and cause a hearing loss, so we can stop doing things like that, just wipe the ear out. If we have consistent noise exposure, that can cause a hearing loss. So we shouldn't listen to music too loud, teenagers shouldn't be putting earphones right against their ears and playing the music really loud, and a good rule of thumb for that is if you can hear the sound from the earphones outside, then we know it's way too loud. For people that work in noisy environments, we want to limit their noise exposure, so wearing ear protection. So people that use the jackhammers on the side of the road, or people working in mines need to ensure that they are using ear protection and having the ears tested regularly. And then if we know that people are on ototoxic medication, so ototoxic medication is medication that causes a hearing loss, then we want to make sure that the hearing is monitored regularly, informing the audiologist and the doctor of the effects. So if we have hearing loss that could be caused by ototoxic medication, making sure that you're going to your doctor and say, I am noticing a change in hearing, or I am noticing a change in my balance, or I'm getting a ringing of the ear, so that the hearing can be monitored and the medication can be changed or can be modified. There's some hearing loss that can't be prevented though, so sensorineural congenital hearing loss is just because it happens, and 50% of hearing loss is of an unknown cause, so that's what cannot be. So if it's a congenital hearing loss, we need to have newborn hearing loss. We need to identify all congenital hearing losses as soon as possible so that we can put in the appropriate measures for early intervention services. If you notice a change in your hearing, consult your audiologist, hearing healthcare professional, who can find information on the net on your closest audiologist. Have a hearing test done so that you can monitor. There are also resources in the web where you can check your hearing, just do a kind of quick screening to see if you are having. And if you notice any difficulties, just consult a hearing healthcare professional and they will be able to provide the appropriate services. So deafness cannot be cured. There are certain types of hearing loss that can be managed. So if there's a conductive hearing loss, we can put in grommets, which will help the hearing levels to move up so that it's not as severe hearing loss and could come to typical levels. But if it's deafness that is sensorineural, that is damage to the ear cells in the ear, is no cure for deafness. So we can manage that with hearing aids or cochlear implants or FM systems if it's a certain level and type of hearing loss so that the child can manage in school. But once those devices are taken off, the child will still be deaf. So there's no hope. Know that 90% of deaf children are born to hearing impairments, and there's the communication mismatch between the deaf child and the hearing parent. And once early intervention processes are in place, we help to bridge that communication mismatch. So in developing countries, the challenge is identifying that hearing loss early enough so that there are appropriate measures in place and there are no permanent effects on language development, socio-emotional development, cognitive development, those types of things. So when parents are given the option and provided with the option of making an informed choice of whether they want the child to be in the deaf world and learn sign language, or have the amplification and learn spoken language, or have a combination of the two, we're giving them the power to make those choices. And we're giving that child the options of growing up as best suits the family and the family's individual circumstances. So the family then gets to make that choice, but they need to make an informed choice. So depending on the family's circumstances, they might want the child to be hearing and live in the hearing world because they're not really wanting to be a part of the deaf world, and that's okay. If they want the child to be a part of the deaf world, or the child chooses later to be a part of the deaf world, that's fine too. So it's all a matter of informed choice and parents being able to make that choice. So if there are people who would like to be totally part of the hearing world, as long as they are respecting the choice of each individual to make their own individual choice that suits their family, their circumstances, their situation, that's perfectly fine. So the research is important because it gives us option for people who do just want to be part of the hearing world, even though they are deaf, the option to do that. As people who are part of the deaf world who learn sign language have the option to be part of the sign world and be part of the rich cultural heritage of the deaf world. Is screen rehabilitate communities, and I think the important thing is the communication. So hearing loss does not cause any kind of difficulty unless we make it cause a difficulty. So if we have appropriate early intervention, give parents the informed choice, and if we all make an effort to learn to communicate with deaf people by learning sign language, by having systems in place where communication with deaf people is made that much easier, we will have a more inclusive society, and we will have a more respectful and a society that is not stigmatized